Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful Thursday. Today's update video will be split into two segments. First, we'll be talking about the current situation with Tropical Storm Bret in the Lesser Antilles, and then we'll move on to Tropical Depression 4 in the main development region of the Atlantic Ocean, and then have a brief aside at the end about the new Eastern Pacific area of interest. So first off, we have Tropical Storm Bret currently just hours away from passing through the Lesser Antilles, as you can see on the visible imagery to your right, and by the text on this slide that I wrote. Tropical storm warnings are currently in place for Barbados, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I believe Barbados is already experiencing tropical storm force winds, although it doesn't look like it on the imagery, as most of the convection for Bret is displaced to the east of its center. But there is still tropical storm force winds extending out from all quadrants. A hurricane watch is also in effect for St. Lucia, although it is looking less and less likely that Bret will intensify into a hurricane. And actually, Bret has begun weakening and is down from its intensity earlier today. And Bret has begun to weaken, and it will continue to weaken as it passes through the islands. Nevertheless, a hurricane watch is still in effect. And Bret is expected to open into a trough in the Caribbean Sea by Saturday. Looking at the key messages from the National Hurricane Center, they say that Bret is forecast to move across the Lesser Antilles this evening and tonight as a strong tropical storm. And they have also listed all of the watch and warning locations listed on the previous slide. They also note that there is a risk of flooding from heavy rainfall, strong winds, and dangerous waves along the coastlines within the warning areas. Moving on to our current conditions, here you can see the IR imagery. As of the 5 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time update, Tropical Storm Bret was located near 13.4 degrees north, 59.6 degrees west, very close to the island of Barbados. Bret has maximum winds of 65 miles per hour or 55 knots. This is down from 70 miles per hour earlier today. Bret currently has a minimum pressure of 1,002 millibars, also up from 999. Oops, I advanced too far. Oh no, I didn't. Anyways, the forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center shows Bret possibly making landfall on St. Lucia or St. Vincent tonight, although it could still drift north or south of that, and also it could very likely pass the islands. Regardless, it will still very much cause significant impacts. The National Hurricane Center also forecasts that Bret will dissipate on Saturday in the Caribbean Sea, although this could happen sooner. In fact, we are down to just the 3-day forecast, as it will no longer exist, according to the National Hurricane Center, after 3 days. You can see its wind field is definitely encompassing Barbados to the south as well. And in fact, the wind field looks like it's already reaching Martinique and some of those Lesser Antilles that are poking out to the east as well. Anyways, this is the weather model for Bret. This is the GFS, and as you can see, not really too much left of this to watch for the most part, as most of the action is obviously in the beginning hours, and now we're just kind of having the model dance over whatever it does. But as you can see, it is expected to continue to weaken and dissipate in the Caribbean Sea. This is generally agreed on by pretty much all models at this point. And now we're going to move on to Tropical Depression 4, which is currently right behind Bret in the open Atlantic over in the main development region. Tropical Depression 4 is right behind Tropical Storm Bret and will likely become the next tropical storm in the Atlantic within the next day or so. And 4 is forecast to track north of the Lesser Antilles. It's expected to continue moving in a northwest motion through the next several days. Looking at its current conditions, as of the 5 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time update, Tropical Depression 4 was located near 11.5 degrees north, 44.0 degrees west. And 4 currently has maximum sustained winds of 35 miles per hour, or 30 knots, just below Tropical Storm 4's threshold. And 4 has a minimum central pressure of about 1,007 millibars, nothing out of the ordinary there. Looking at the official forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center, you can see that it has, the National Hurricane Center has 4 reaching tropical storm status within the next few hours, at least by 2 p.m. on Friday Atlantic Standard Time. And you can see the forecast cone does show 4 tracking well to the north of the Lesser Antilles, although some of those northern Lesser Antilles should still definitely continue monitoring the progress of 4 as 4 could drift outside of this forecast. The forecast could shift south, although the models at least are very much in high agreement for Tropical Depression 4. The forecast cone also shows 4 peaking with winds of 60 miles per hour or 50 knots on Saturday and Sunday, before then beginning to weaken starting early next week and losing tropical storm status by midweek. See, they have it down to a depression by 2 p.m. on Tuesday. Looking at the GFS once again, we can see it has 4 definitely struggling quite a bit over these next few days. It definitely has a weaker tropical storm, but still something to monitor over the remainder of this week into the weekend and the start of next week. And now, just to end off, one final headline. We do have our first area of interest in the Eastern Pacific. The basin is finally waking up after a month-long slumber to start the season. There has been an area of interest marked off the coast of Mexico. The National Hurricane Center is anticipating that an area of low pressure will form in the area within the next couple of days or so, and thus has given the area of interest a 0% chance of formation within 2 days, as there's currently really nothing there. Although the National Hurricane Center does give it a 70% chance of formation within the next 5 days. So this is a bit of a preview of what's to come next week in the tropics. So what can you do if you are under threats from Tropical Storm Bret, or possibly wondering about Tropical Depression 4, or just want to know what you can do in tropical systems and hurricanes in general? Make sure to always follow official guidance when making decisions regarding tropical cyclones, whether that be local officials or emergency responders, etc. The National Hurricane Center is responsible for issuing official advisories on Bret and 4. You can visit their website at www.nhc.noaa.gov. And additionally, consult local officials to know about specific risks in your location. So that's going to be it from us today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what we do here at Advective Weather, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more updates. It definitely does help. Additionally, if you would like to chat with our team or other weather enthusiasts in our community, you can join our Discord server. The link is in the description. And so that's going to be it from us. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. See ya.